Hi, and welcome back to the Actor Workout. And I'm Coach Stuart Glenn, and I'm thrilled to be joined by a young actor by the name of Matthew. Matthew, what's your last name?
Chuang, Chuang.
Okay, and if you wouldn't mind, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi, my name is Matthew Chuang. I'm a student in Taipei American School. I'm a junior this year, 16, and I act in school and I do things around school. I also act outside of school as well, and I definitely want to pursue acting in college and see where it takes me from there.
Okay, what a project that you've done that you were most proud of?
That I was most proud of. When I was working at UCLA, I was at a UCLA summer program this past summer, and we devised a piece for our performance. And I think I'm really proud of that piece because it showed what students are really capable of, and we were able to put on a really great show in a span of 3 weeks.
What was the piece? Describe the piece for
us. So the piece, I think it was called 4 p.m. in Chesterville. It was about a support group of students, and basically we just tackled a bunch of subjects that we as teenagers feel like adults don't really understand, or like what we're going through. And so everyone brainstormed ideas and just came up with things they would like to talk about, and we created scenes out of that, and we just threw it all into this one play. And it was like a 45-minute one act.
Okay.
And yeah.
Awesome. Building your own thing from scratch.
It was nice. It was fun.
Lovely. And do you have any projects that you're working on now? What's your next?
Not quite. I don't do much acting around Taiwan because I don't actually speak Mandarin too fluently. So I feel like that's kind of an issue for me. And I mean, I'm just focusing on school for now. But I guess the next project for me is our fall show next year, which is a musical called In the Heights by Lin-Manuel. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Have you done any other TAS productions yet?
Yeah, I've done 3 while I was in high school. There's one called 12th Night, which was
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. We did an 80s rendition of it, so it was a lot of fun. We performed Little Shock of Horrors last year, 2018, and then 2019 we did The Miracle Worker, which is about Helen Keller and
yeah. Classic. Well, I love the drama program up at TAS. I think you're in great hands there. I was thrilled years ago when they did the Laramie Project. That's one of my favorite plays, a very important piece of theater.
I agree.
So now I just want to explain to the audience that we had a bit of a Zoom glitch earlier, and the challenge portion of the actor workout, which is the cold read, Matthew has already done, but we didn't get the recording of it. So I've given him some notes, and just to remind Matthew and so you the audience can watch to see if he's doing these things that we've suggested, is that I've asked him to slow down a little. The trap of doing a cold read too quickly is a problem almost everybody faces, and we need to learn to just take our time and trust that we own the space. I also want to see more of a loose jaw from him. He carries his jaw a little tight. His pronunciation is excellent. So yeah, we're going to do our second take right now. And he's doing the opening speech from Jerry McGuire. And so he's playing a sports agent with an epiphany. All right, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, I need to maybe your shoulders in frame a little bit more like what I'm trying to match my frame.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, and action.
I began writing what they call a mission statement, not a memo, a mission statement. You know, a suggestion for the future of our company. A night like this doesn't come along very often, and I seized it. What started out as 1 page became 25. Suddenly, I was my father's son again. I was remembering the simple pleasures of this job, how I ended up here out of law school, the way stadium sounds when one of my players performs well on the field, the way we were meant to protect them in health and in injury. With so many clients, we had forgotten what was important. I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote, and I'm not even a writer. I was remembering even the words of the original sports agent, my mentor, the late great Dickie Fox, who said, "The key to this business is personal relationships." And suddenly it was all pretty clear. The answer was fewer clients, less money, and more attention. Caring for them, caring for ourselves and the games too. Just starting our lives, really. Hey, I'll be the first to admit, what I was writing was somewhat touchy-feely, and I don't care. I've lost the ability to bullshit, and it was the me I always wanted to be.
Okay. Nice. Nice. How did that feel?
I feel like I rehearsed it better than I performed it right there. Definitely my jaw was tight, and
Yeah.
I rushed some of the bits. I didn't enunciate a lot of the consonants.
The
Which
softer ones, like suddenly, you kind of.
Yeah, I kind of like rushed through it, so that was definitely
Taking your time. Your pacing was better, but you can pace it a little bit more by working on that pronunciation.
Mhm.
Okay. What about the character? How do you feel? What was the basic foundational emotion that you kind of was driving you through that?
Well, I think definitely enthusiasm and compassion in a sense, because I feel like what happened was he realized he's kind of like what they do is kind of not morally right in a sense, like they don't really care about the players. He's kind of like trying to convince them they really need to do care about their clients, because their health and their well-being is really important as well.
Yeah, like when they get injured, they're not getting paid as much, and so the agents don't care about them. Okay, that's good. That's some deep understanding. But let's suggest something here that at the moment that you're speaking, you're finished the mission statement. The 25 pages are finished. You're in. I think in the movie there's actually scenes of him going to Kinko's to photocopy it for everybody in the office, or something like that. So that empathy that you're showing, the compassion that you speak of, that was poured out. That emotion was kind of poured out onto the pages. What's now driving is not just enthusiasm, but joy, complete joy and excitement, and so enthusiasm on steroids.
Right. Okay.
Happy. I think when you watch back on the video, you see you're almost look like you're in a little bit of pain. You're feeling the compassion, the need to be compassionate so much.
Okay.
And it's good that you can access that emotion and let it show on your face. Another thing you're doing really well that a lot of actors have difficult, especially stage actors, is the stillness. Okay, I'm not seeing your head bob around. You're keeping your body real still. It's still kind of tightening itself in your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay. So still body, but really open, and this is your tool now. This is everything.
All right.
Okay. And let's put a lot more joy in your heart. You can't wait to share this. It's kind of like me with this new project of the actor workout. I can't stop thinking about it. But I'm thrilled, and when I talk about it, I just want to share it with people, and I'm excited. You know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so let's do another take now.
All right.
Okay.
Quick.
And action.
I began writing what they call a mission statement. Not a memo, a mission statement. A suggestion for the future of our company. A night like this doesn't come along very often, and I seized it. What started out as one page became 25. Suddenly, I was my father's son again. I was remembering the simple pleasures of this business. How I ended up here out of law school. The way a stadium sounds when one of my players performs well on a field. The way we are meant to protect them in health and in injury. With so many clients, we'd forgotten what was important. I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote, and I'm not even a writer. I was remembering even the words of the original sports agent, my mentor, the late great Dickie Fox, who said, The key to this business is personal relationships. Suddenly, it was all pretty clear. The answer was fewer clients, less money, and more attention. Caring for them, caring for ourselves and the games too. Just starting our lives, really. And hey, I'll be the first to admit, what I was writing was somewhat touchy-feely, and I didn't care. I have lost the ability to bullshit. It was the me I always wanted to be.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. You're a lot happier in that and a lot more enthusiastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did that feel for you?
I feel like when I'm trying to be more enthusiastic or happy, I tend to rush it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
and like, I feel like my pace just picks up without me actually wanting it to speed up. So I feel like that's something that I'm working on.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have this piece now, so you can continue to work on it on your own time and develop the pacing, and your instinct is correct. And again, I'll just reiterate, and this is something you're going to need to work on, is loosening. Do you sing?
I do sing, yes.
Yeah. Well, singing, you really have to,
Yeah.
you know, the whole tool from the diaphragm to the teeth, the lips, the tip of the tongue. You know that one, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's all part of it. And I'm surprised though, because this is something that I normally see with people who have Mandarin as their first language. Because when you speak Mandarin, the sound creation is more frontal,
Yeah.
and so the tendency to keep the jaw tighter when speaking Mandarin. But English is your first language.
Yeah. Well, not really. Mandarin is my first language, but I stopped speaking.
Oops.
No, I don't speak it at home, so I don't actually speak Mandarin at all.
Okay, well then, but that would explain the tight jaw then. Yeah. It is indicative of the Taiwanese. Anyway, I'm not familiar with other Asian. I imagine Japanese would be the same thing, because well, just think about how a Japanese girl laughs, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that shyness about showing the mouth, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now consider this. Taiwan's history, very uniquely engaged with the Japanese culture, right?
Uh-huh.
And even if what your family comes from, if it's Huaren or Aboriginal or anything like that, there's a lot of Japanese influence here.
Right.
So your grandmother maybe also manifested a little shyness about the mouth, and you're raised by your grandmother for most of your life now, and that might show up in the way.
Right. Uh-huh.
So that's just a theory I have. I'm not sure if I'm longer,
That
but
makes sense.
you need to loosen the mouth up. General note to all Taiwanese, because look, I'm not. Everything's created at the front.
Yeah.
You know? We want to come from the diaphragm and up, lots of supported air.
Right.
Training of that perfect pronunciation, the basic must-have skill of an actor. Okay. Loosening your mouth and working on perfect pronunciation, that will they'll work together.
Yes.
Symbiotically.
That's good.
Okay. What else do I want to say? Oh, yeah. Now that I talked about the stillness of being on the camera, okay, I'm going to say this to you, and then no matter how well you performed it, when you watch back, you're just going to go, oh, yeah, oh. So throughout the entire monologue, I was getting this.
Oh.
Shaking the head, no. Okay. So watch the video back, and that you might get away with that in theater, but the camera catches all. Okay. So you'll see that the head, and that's a tendency. I watch professional actors delivering their lines and giving me the no nod, this shaking of the head as they deliver the lines. Yeah. Stillness.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I think we'll try it one more time.
All right.
Okay. And so let's just work on stillness of pronunciation and pace.
Okay.
Those three things. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere.
Got it.
If you take your time slower than beyond what you think is believable, it's still only going to add 5 seconds to the overall length of the piece.
Okay.
Take your time. Okay.
All right. I began writing what they call a mission statement, not a memo, a mission statement. A suggestion for the future of our company. A night like this doesn't come along very often, and I seized it. What started out as 1 page became 25. Suddenly, I was my father's son again. I was remembering the simple pleasures of this job, how I ended up here out of law school, the way stadium sounds when one of my players performed well on the field, the way we were meant to protect them in health and in injury. With so many clients, we've forgotten what was important. And I wrote and I wrote and wrote, and I'm not even a writer. I was remembering even the words of the original sports agent, my mentor, the late great Dickie Fox, who said, "The key to this business is personal relationships." Suddenly, it was all pretty clear. The answer was fewer clients, less money, and more attention. Caring for them, caring for ourselves in the games too. Just starting our lives, really. And hey, I'll be the first to admit, what I was writing was somewhat touchy-feely, and I didn't care. I've lost the ability to bullshit. It was the me I always wanted to be.
Okay, yeah. Much improved on the head stillness, much improved on the pace. And what else did we ask for?
I think pronunciation.
Oh, pronunciation, yeah. Yeah.
That's still an issue.
Well, listen, you're 16, you said?
Mm-hmm.
You have 16 years of the pattern of speaking that you taught yourself, right?
Yeah.
And so you're not going to break it off in a 30-minute workshop with me. So it's something you focus on. Now, practicing this cold reading skill, I highly suggest you train yourself by grabbing something, a piece of poetry or a monologue from a movie like this, something that you're not familiar with, and read it cold. What happens is when we're reading, our eye is like maybe 2 or 3 words ahead of our mouth on the sentence, on the page. Mm-hmm. By practicing cold reading, you can greaten that distance. You can be 4 or 5 words ahead. You can even scan and you'd be on the next line in your mind. So and pacing will help you do that as well, help you scan further. That's the trick. That's the actual hammer and nail skill that you need to develop, is how far ahead can you be reading while you're speaking.
Right. Okay.
Pronunciation. Attention to pronunciation will control your pace. And by controlling your pace, you can then allow the actor tool of finding that emotion to come back around and inform how you're saying it. Okay? It's a cyclical thing, and it's a skill that is easily improved through practice.
Okay.
So reading out loud, everything you ever do, even if you're writing an assignment for, you don't have him yet, but Mr. Nolan in the physics department. If you're writing a lab report, read it out loud. Right. Listen to it.
Okay.
And practice your pronunciations. Read everything out loud for the rest of your life, and you will loosen that jaw.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, buddy, it was my pleasure. That was some really good work. Hang on, I gotta try and figure out. I need a producer for this thing. In video. Hey there, now I made myself bigger. Okay. All right, so I want to thank Matthew for some very hard work for an actor so young. His instinct is beyond his years, mature beyond his years. So this is the actor's workout. Normally you would be challenged with the cold reading. Unfortunately for this session, we were unable to record Matthew's cold reading, but you can see the improvement in the 3 readings that he has done. I want to thank Matthew for taking his time and for his hard work as an actor. See, everybody, acting's not easy. Everybody thinks, oh, you're just an actor. It's not easy. It's hard work. And Matthew's well on his way to becoming.
Thank you so much, sir.
Hey, my pleasure. And just call me Stu.
Thank you, Stu.
Okay, so the Actors Workshop, if you want to play, find us. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and my personal email is toesave@gmail.com. That's TOESAVE@gmail.com. Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you, Stu.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay, we have stopped recording.